What is quality assurance? I am tempted to compare it with our mind. It is erroneously assumed that our mind is an entity in the physical sense, but it does offer proof of its existence by way of our manner, style, and behavior. Quality is not another separate entity beyond its manifestation in the various subsystems in the TVET ecosystem. Quality assurance to me is like an invisible yet omnipresent octopus whose tentacles firmly hold a grip on all elements and subsystems of TVET. Despite that, many practitioners believe quality assurance to be a standalone system and unwittingly commit what is known as the category mistake. It was Gilbert Ryle, the British philosopher, while repudiating the mind body dualism, first talked about the category mistake. And he gave an example of cricket. While explaining the game of cricket to a friend, he talked about the pitch, the bowler, the batsman, the wicket keeper, and the rest of the players. After hearing all this, his friend asked, I see all of this, but where is the sportsman spirit? He erroneously assumed that sportsman spirit is the 13th player of the game or it exists as a separate entity or category. In fact, the collective manner in which the game of cricket is played reflects the presence or absence of sportsman spirit. What implications the category mistake has in the TVET system? In many countries, one has witnessed one or the other subsystem of TVET getting undue prominence at the cost of at the cost of other system equally which are equally critical. The net result can be explained by an example of a person, and this is not a good example, but it drives the point home. Example of a person who is fond of drinking beer and holding a large glass of beer in his right hand for years. His right hand muscles are bulging, but otherwise is a bag of bones. In other words, a part of the system of subsystem does not necessarily convey the essence of quality assurance. It is the perfect harmony and synchronization, if you may, among all the systems that gives the evidence of quality assurance. Let me explain briefly on the concept. I have seen in many geographies the national qualification framework is nothing but a laundry list of a laundry list of level of training programs and their respective qualifications. No wonder the industry finds the youth who comes with a certificate of completion of training not fit for the job. The national occupational standards are nothing but a rehash of the standard job descriptions, missing out critical elements of know how, problem solving, and accountability. In several cases, the qualification framework descriptions do not get aligned with qualifications. This linkage to me is very critical for cross sectoral pathways. Such a situation is witnessed in the Indian TVET system, where the industry, though nominally represented through the sector skill councils, follows their own framework while recruiting the candidates, thus defeating the national objective of TVET being the prime source of supply of well trained and motivated youth force. TVET system has different parentage in different countries. In countries like India, the bulging youth population and the pressure of poverty alleviation largely has forced policymakers to look at TVET with a different yet focused perspective. In South Africa, the economic and social inclusion of those who faced discrimination due to apartheid has been the driving force. Historically, in India, TVET was treated in complete isolation from the formal school and higher education processes. It is only now that the National Education Policy 2020, the government has provided a somewhat holistic perspective of linking TVET with the formal education and bridging the inequality and inequity among the unprivileged sections of the society. A point worth mentioning while talking about QA, quality assurance, is the concept of lifelong learning. Education does not stop at getting the certificate, degree, or diploma. In fact, many examples of workers in the informal sector, particularly, do not have any formal degree or diploma or qualification, yet they excel in what they do. On a lighter yet serious note, housewives cook daily meals with 100% quality assurance. They do not have any certificates. The concept of recognition of prior learning is indeed laudatory in that context and has to be very firmly embedded in the entire framework of TVET. The idea of competency and outcome based learning, principles and processes for the recognition of learning, the processes for the accreditation and award of qualifications, and the capacity and the processes for system change do reflect differences in the epistemology of knowledge, skills, and competencies, and the ownership of the value carried by qualifications. These concepts and ambitions are relatively new, contested, and their impact remains therefore largely formative. Their embodiment within the use of the first generation of national qualification framework provides a unique case study or unique case studies for an examination of the nature of qualification systems and the extent to which these systems can be supported and managed to achieve wider national and societal objectives. They also provide test cases for the efficacy of different constructs of knowledge and skills and the processes, foundations, and authority for the recognition. Coming back to the quality assurance of TVET, in my view, the robust quality assurance processes provides a national commitment and identity. It also helps in ensuring international mobility of the youth. If all the elements are in sync with what the industry expects, then that assurance is a great comfort for the industry, and the trained youth will be picked up immediately by the industry. We have seen that happening in the top business schools, wherein the bright students' fees are picked up by the companies and they are absorbed upon completion of their studies. Quality assurance mechanism activities in TVET depends on the existence of necessary mechanisms which are sustained by realistic quality assurance. The mechanisms are internal and external quality assurance. The inputs for quality mechanism come from the society, the policy planners, the infrastructure, the content, pedagogy, quality of integrate assessment, the trainer and his competence, his or her competence, sector skill councils, and the timely inputs, the occupational standards, and not to overlook the funding to the non-state players who are interested in furthering the cause of vocational training but do not possess deep pockets to run and sustain the schools. To conclude, as I mentioned earlier, I would like to compare the quality assurance process to the invisible octopus. As we know, Octopus is a very intelligent sea animal with 8 limbs. I imagine quality assurance to hold tightly the various systems of TVET to ensure that each of these subsystems works optimally and in full sync with the other elements, making the input, activities, output, outcome, and impact sequence perform in a very seamless and efficient manner. Thank you very much.